So hi everybody, here's another video. I've been having the wintertime blues. I miss spring, I miss seeing the greens and the flowers and the bees buzzing and the birds. So I decided to treat myself earlier and yeah, I kind of spurged on some plants. So all these guys came from Annie's Annuals, which is located in California. They grow a lot of rare and unusual perennials and annuals. Honestly, they're an amazing nursery. By the way, I'm not sponsored, so this is just my unpaid opinion. And I wish there were more nurseries out there like them that were going out and propagating rare, unusual, were once common and sometimes even endangered plants for gardeners to grow, because at the end of the day our gardens act as reservoirs for conserving a lot of these plants, where they're an endangered species who's going extinct in the wild, or it's a cultivar that was bred in the 1800s and is no longer being propagated commercially. All that stuff matters. That's a lot of genetic diversity that could be lost. So now that the preaching is over, I'll get off my stool and talk about the plants I purchased. So Annie's packs them up pretty well. They use a lot of rubber bands and they put this paper on top to hold in the moisture. And sorry if the camera is shaky, I'm doing this one-handed. Well, you know what? I'll just talk about them and then do this, take them off a different time. So this is a salvia, and I believe this is Salvia Big Swing. Yep, Salvia Big Swing. It's a hybrid. Has nice blue flowers. The leaves get a lot larger than this once it gets established. I'm super excited for this plant. It's very rare to find. Well, I shouldn't say rare. It's very difficult to find plants with true blue flowers. A lot of times what we call blue is actually purple. It's either tinted with purple or pink in it, so it's not really blue. But this has real blue flowers, and like many salvias, it's beloved by pollinators. Since it's blue, it's probably going to attract a lot of bees. And who wouldn't want that? This next one has these big gorgeous leaves, and I'm pretty sure this is the Ranunculus. Yep, it's Ranunculus. If this thing will focus. Quarticiflora subspecies major. I believe this species is native to California, and Ranunculus are found all over the world. Typically they have yellow flowers. This one has single yellow flowers, and a lot of people grow it because it's this giant. It's a giant compared to other members of that genus. So I'm really excited for this. It's probably go along this shady wall that I have. I don't think it would like the southwest sun, so keeping it in a little bit more shady of a position might keep it happy. And Ranunculus is another plant that it has a bad rep. A lot of people think of it as a weed. That species is not a weed, so do your research first before purchasing any members of the Ranunculus genus. Again, not all of them are weedy species, and some weedy species are only weedy in certain areas. So yeah, do your research, but all of them are beloved by pollinators, again, mostly bees. Here we have, oh, this one's cool. This one is Cincinnaria sterlata Giovanni Select. This goes under a different name. I think it's Cincinnaria now. So it got split off into its own little genus. You oftentimes see them sold, around now or Easter time. They're these short little dumpy things that full grown will probably be the size of this plant right now and covered in flowers, but they die. super easy because they bloom themselves to death. This one was selected according to the Annie's Annuals website by, I think, someone called Giovanni, hence the name Giovanni's Select, for its larger size. Inland, it will prefer to grow in shady conditions, and it comes in all these different colors of white, pink, purple, and red. I'm not sure which one this is going to flower. Given the red stems, it's probably going to be like a reddish purple. And it will self-sow. So I'm hoping this guy grows. He does good, flowers, and sets seed. And those seedlings, hopefully they establish themselves and sprout, will display the other colors within this selection. Another cool plant. And this genus is usually, I think you find a lot of these species growing around the Canaries and Africa too. And again, growing in inland area, you will want to keep it in shade. But I think having those types of colors popping up in the shade, really nice. Because shady spaces tend to be kind of boring and dark. Alright, so here's another one. And I like the way they package these too. Everything stays secure. Very few times have I found plants like outside of the box, and usually when they get out of the box, they're undamaged because of how everything else is so snugly wrapped. So this one is another Salvia. I really like the genus Salvia. So this is Salvia Cotton color. I believe this one has slightly darker bluish purple flowers. And it's another Salvia that will prefer shady conditions. And again, it will attract a ton of different pollinators, mostly bees. But I would think hummingbirds will go to it too. Just that hummingbirds are mostly attracted to red and orange. But, I mean, once they figure out that it's there, they'll go. And I think this is another Salvia. And this one is Salvia Flora. Sorry that the camera won't ever focus. Come on. Moi Blablano. This one has red flowers. It's from South America. Blooms pretty late in the season. We're talking like late fall. So if you're living in an area where winters are tend to hit a little bit earlier, you'll probably want to treat it as a houseplant. Bring it inside and maybe enjoy some of those flowers if you have a very sunny sunroom. And where I live, our winter usually doesn't start till December, so I should get at least 2 months of flowers off of this guy. And that's really important because around that time, a lot of the hummingbirds are moving back down south for the winter, so this guy will provide some food for those migrating hummingbirds. And then this one right here, let's see what this is. This is, oh, another Salvia. Salvia Purpurea, lavender lace. Has purple flowers. According to Annie's website, it could get 6 feet tall. So it's going to need to go towards the back of the border. Very nice. And also, I really like the leaves. They're kind of like flushed with like a bronzy tint. And I'm not sure if that's because of the cold or is that just new growth. Either way, it's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And like all salvias, it's going to be attracting a ton of pollinators. And it's another one of those, like the one that we talked about before, the Cincinnaria, that it blooms kind of late in the season, although I think that one starts early fall. So you'll get a lot more time with that one flowering. Okay, next one. And let me put these guys in here, out of the way. Well, we have the cut. Okay. So on to the next one. Let's see. Boom. And as you can see, these plants come in like healthy. They're a bit expensive, I'm not gonna lie. And then a lot of times the shipping goes up. But I think it's worth it. And I would just buy one and then propagate from there if you're planning on doing a mass planting. But this business, yeah, it's amazing. So here we have another, I think this is another Salvia. Actually, no. This is a Philadelphus mexicanus Flora plena. It is a Mexican mock orange. They're found throughout Central, South America, into Southern United States. Really diverse genus. This one has, this will grow into a large bush. Nice semi-double white flowers. Smells like orange blossom. It's gonna be beloved by pollinators, and once established, is pretty drought tolerant. Okay, this guy right here, some of you might think, oh, that's a agave, or maybe it's an aloe, but actually, it's a bromeliad, so it's related to pineapples. It's a member of the genus Puya, and this is Puya. If my camera will focus, it's like my camera has a phobia of labels. Coelia var monterona. I think this one's from South America. It will clump up about 3 feet or more over time. It is very spiky, but the spikes on this aren't that they're not that big, and if you have a neighbor you don't like, plant this near your boundary line. Super drought tolerant, not that frost tolerant, so you might want to find somewhere sheltered for it. But once it's established, it will send up these huge bloom sticks that have black flowers with like a blue lip. Hummingbirds will visit this guy. And I'm pretty sure bees will too. So this is pretty cool. I really want to experiment more with the terrestrial bromeliads. I think they'd be a good alternative to the agaves and aloes. Not that I wouldn't grow those too. And this guy, oh, this one's cool. This is Pecanthus EC. This one gets humongous. It gets probably like 6 feet tall. Very good for a back of the border tender shrub, because that's really what this is. Late in the season, starting in late summer, it starts producing bluish purple flowers that look like a salvia. And I think they kind of maybe are in the same family. This guy's related to Coleus, but really nice. And a lot of these Pecanthus, they have a smell to the leaves. Yeah, this one has kind of a minty, but not a good minty smell. Very nice. It's going to attract, again, a ton of pollinators. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize my hand was covering the camera. So here we got another load. We have this nil hairy guy, which is Cordelia Linolobia Big Yellow Moon. Great ground cover, super drought tolerant. Has these very finely divided filigree leaves. Yellow flowers. It's a member of the daisy family. I used to have one of these, but we got a rainy bad winter, and I planted it late in the fall, so I don't think it got the chance to establish properly. When it was flowering, a lot of hoverflies were going to it. I didn't see a lot of bees, and I didn't see any butterflies or moths, but let's see. I'll keep an eye on it. This next one is Penstemon Gloxaloides Dorn. Oh, is it Dorn? Yeah, it's Dorn. Has very pale pink with an outer lip of pink flowers. On their Annie's Annuals website, they say this Penstemon lasts pretty long. A lot of the problems with Penstemon Gloxaloides, that hybrid complex, is that they tend to be pretty short-lived. I'm hoping this guy is long-lived. Penstemons are awesome. Penstemon X Gloxaloides is usually used as a bedding plant, hence why it has a short lifespan. But again, according to Annie's website, this one is one of the ones that has a longer lifespan. You can also take little cuttings of it, but we'll go over that once later in the season. Very cool plant. Then this guy is... this camera. Philadelphus Camprensis magenta. It is a Cape Fuchsia, native to South Africa. They spread underground via tiny little runners and rhizomes. Has This one has magenta flowers, very beloved by hummingbirds, and also drought tolerant. Okay, so let me get this and put that away. And then, okay, hold up. Alrighty. So here we go to our next one. And usually Annie's doesn't use these, I wish this camera would focus, these packing peanuts. So that's new. Okay. Gonna be a mess. So this first one, let me get rid of all these packing peanuts because that's gonna be a pain in the ass. This first one, this tiny little guy, is a succulent. It is Dovah Mikins. It kind of resembles your classic ice plant, but it has Halloween looking flowers. The interior of the flower is yellow with a red outline on it. Very cool. And I haven't grown any members of this genus before, so I'm excited for that. Okay, let me try shaking these peanuts off. This next one is Hungarian firecracker plant, and I believe the genus is Disciplitia, and this one is Suberecta. Again, I tried this one before, but I planted it super late in the season, and then we got a surprise snowstorm like a week after I planted it, so it didn't come back up. So welcome back. This does make a small mounding shrub, could be evergreen or deciduous depending again how hard the winter is. But if you get it started early enough in the season, you should be fine. Has orange flowers and will attract hummingbirds. Again, drought tolerant. And then over here, let me get rid of these packing peanuts. This one, I believe, is a Koopa. Koopa. Yeah, it is. Koopa. Steinberg Sunset. Koopa is also known as the bat face plant. I don't see it, to be honest. But this one has orange flowers, and it does get pretty big. Pretty good for planting in the shade. Will attract hummingbirds, and I think having that red-orange bloom in the shady spot, very nice. Because again, the problem with shady areas is that they're too dark. They are too dark. But you are going to have to amend the soil, because one of the problems with shady areas is that it is dry. Most shade that we get comes from either a wall or from a larger plant like a tree. Sorry that the camera's going all over the place. Coming from a tree, which if it's coming from a tree, it's sucking up all that water. If it's coming from a wall, the wall is probably blocking any rain. So make sure to set up an irrigation system to help plants like that thrive. Oh, and look right here. A little piece of that ice plant, the Dorn Mikins broke off, but that's okay, because this will make a good cutting. So I'm just going to put it right there. That's cool. Now I'm just going to pick up real quick. Okay. So let me clean this stuff up a little bit more. And it completely destroyed it. Pretty bad. But hopefully planting it in the spring, it'll grow enough and harden off that wood that I'll be able to make it. I'll probably end up covering it this coming winter with a frost cloth just to make sure. Because yeah, I don't want to lose it again. It's a really nice Euphorbia. Alright, so let me get this stuff. Move that out of the way. Move on to the next one. Alrighty. So this one has a couple cool guys in it too. And in fact, I think one of them is a vine. Okay. So this one I think is the Laurentia Flora. Lavandula Flora. I'm probably mispronouncing that. This grows off the coast of California. It is a big mallow. Has pretty normal flowers for the genus Laurentia. Pink with some white blush. Very nice. Again, very good at attracting pollinators. And it grows super fast. So if you need a hedge and you don't want to waste too much money, I recommend getting one of these guys. They produce a lot of seed, and you can also do cuttings off of them. And again, you'll have a hedge within the end of that year for some privacy. So that's going to be nice. Okay, this next one is a clover. It's Oxalis. It is Oxalis spiralis vocincola. Forms nibble tubers under the ground, just like a lot of Oxalis do. Has yellow flowers, which do contrast a lot with this purple foliage, but it won't self-seed like a lot of other Oxalis tend to do. A lot of people have a fear of the genus Oxalis because there's a lot of weedy members out there. But just like the Ranunculus that we talked about earlier, not all of them are villains. So do your research. This guy would prefer light shade. And over time it will clump up. And you could divide it up and spread those rhizomes around and get it to create drifts in your landscape. Very nice. And I have a couple of the more weedy Oxalis in my yard, and I've seen a lot of butterflies visit the flowers, so I'm betting that guy probably has the same effect. This right here is a passion flower. This is Passiflora. Oh my god. Laurentia X Carrula. It's a hybrid. I don't know that much about it, but this year I was growing Passiflora Carrula, which is one of the parents of this hybrid, and it got eaten up by Gulf fertility butterflies, and it was amazing. It's regrowing right now in the winter, which to me is crazy, but it's regrowing, and I'm hoping it takes off and we get more of those butterflies visiting. But I want to plant this one in a different yard, my grandmother's yard, so that she could see the same thing. Because, yeah, that was pretty cool. I think it's always pretty cool to see caterpillars eating your plants, because that means your garden is actually part of the ecosystem. So I think that's pretty awesome. Okay, here we go. So here we have, if I could get this guy to open, we have an iris relative native to South Africa. This is Artistia inargularis. Has blue flowers for a very long time. Might self-seed for you. If not, you could do divisions, and apparently the bees like this guy a lot too. And it's also super drought tolerant, evergreen, although like African irises, members of another genus called Dietes, the foliage might get damaged with a harsh winter, and you might have to cut it back, but it'll resprout. Let me orientate that. Okay, let's see what this is. This I don't remember. This one's cool. This is Novelia Angela Skyscraper. From this nibble plant, you're going to have a 6-foot tall pillar of purple bluish daisy flowers in the fall. I just wanted to grow it because it's a giant. That's so weird. Most of the asters you see sold at Lowe's or Home Depot are these tiny nibble guys that they just make a nibble mound. Appropriate for some settings, But knowing that this grows into a monster from this tiny little thing, that's what sold me on it. And also seeing those blue flowers late in the fall, that's going to look super nice and be beneficial for late season pollinators too. Also, I kind of feel like I've been neglecting the genus Aster a lot. I grow a lot of other Asteraceae, but not Asters themselves. This guy is going to be a challenge. Not because it's difficult to grow, but because it may or may not be hardy. This is a begonia, specifically a king begonia. It's a hybrid, and it's called Begonia Gin Daniels. I'm going to plant this under the porch where it's going to get some shelter. It gets about 5 to 6 feet tall according to Annie's website. It has purpley red flowers. I'm really hoping it makes it through the winter. I'm also going to put a frost cloth on it just to see if it overwinters. And I'm also going to take cuttings of it at the end, near the end of fall, so I could propagate it probably via water propagation, just in case it doesn't make it. Then I could just treat it as an annual. But I think it'd be cool to have a king begonia out there. I've heard of people succeeding outside in certain areas, like in London, with Begonia luxurians, I believe, which is another king begonia. And I've always wanted to do that one. Try that one too. But I'll try it with this guy. See what happens. I really like the dark purple leaves with that red underside. Very nice. And now I'm going to clean up this mess. And we have one final batch of plants to talk about. So, oh shoot. Okay. This is very hard to do one-handed, so sorry if you guys are just seeing random things in my garage. Okay. So, here we got 2 plants and a free pot, which I'm never going to say no to getting one of these for free. So this first one, which honestly the leaves are really nice. Kind of looks like some people might think that the leaves on this look kind of weedy, but honestly I've always had an attraction to some of the more weedy looking plants. This is Laurentia Oxalis. It is, I believe it's native to either Australia or South America. Has blue nibble star-like flowers, makes a ground cover over time. Could probably get 1 to 2 feet wide and spread. Very nice. Would probably prefer part shade in my type of climate, the desert Southwest. But otherwise, it could get drought tolerant given some time. And some soil amending too. According to the website, I believe it's hardy to zone 8. So let's see if that's true. But I'm not sure if it will die back to the roots or act as an evergreen. Regardless, I'm going to take cuttings at the end of the fall, just like with the begonia. In fact, with a couple of these guys that are more on the tender side of things. But we'll see. Since they're going to have a head start, hopefully they produce enough root mass to get them to overwinter successfully. This guy, which I think I know what this is. I think this is, let's see if I'm right, rhodonosites? I was wrong, but close enough. This is Phoria Grandiflora. Now this one's going to be a bit of a challenge. So this is related to a weed called ground sole. It's another member of the Asteraceae family. In fact, it's closely related to Senecio, which we heard about earlier with the Cincinnaria. This is a tree version. It's an arborescent version of that group. And I think it used to actually be classified as a Senecio, but Senecio has been broken up by taxonomists in the past couple of years. Now, the reason why this guy's going to be a challenge is because it's a cloud forest native. So cloud forests are temperate to tropical forests that are found in the mountains. Hence why they're called cloud forests. So it's cool, but there's a lot of humidity. Versus here in the desert Southwest, there is not a lot of humidity. So I'm hoping this guy is adaptable enough to tolerate that. And then the second challenge would be, will it survive the winter? So this will probably be another one that will get Frostcloth. I can't pronounce. Frostcloth treatment. But hopefully I have success and actually get this guy to flower. It has flowers that resemble other ground souls. But it's in like steroid version. So I'm really looking forward to this guy. I'm hoping it makes it. Hopefully. Now for our final batch of stuff. Let's see. Get it out. Okay. So this one right here, and it actually has flower buds. That's cool. This is Solanum, Crispum, Glastonivian. It's a potato vine. This one you could train it as either a vine or as a shrub. I'm probably gonna keep this as a shrub. Has purpley flowers, which bumblebees will like a lot. It does produce toxic fruit, so if you have kids or animals that like to eat everything, I recommend planting this somewhere where they cannot reach it. And it's a tender shrub, so I'll probably die back to the root. And then right here we have Cydialcaria hendersonii. I really like this genus. A lot of them kind of look similar, that they're just like hollyhockish with pink flowers, pinkish white flowers. But I think they're really cool. This one is a native to California. And I think that one's actually threatened in the wild, but I'm not too sure. Now finally, we have this guy, which is going to be the most difficult one. Okay, came out easy. This is Solanum valinium labadit gelisco. This is a climbing potato vine. Has pretty sizable panicles of blue flowers that are slightly scented. This is tender. So again, I'm planting it in the shady wall behind the yellow rose where I'm hoping it will get enough shelter. Regardless, I'll be taking cuttings of it in the fall. And just like the other Solanum that we talked about, it will be attracting bumblebees and Koopa. Now, the reason why it attracts those guys is because it is buzz pollinated, which means the bee produces a certain frequency via vibrating its wings to get the flower to actually open to release its pollen and nectar, which very interesting stuff. So this is my plant haul. Hopefully everything makes it. Thanks Annie's Annuals for growing such amazing plants. Again, not sponsored. I highly recommend you guys go check them out. Link will be included with a list of all the plants discussed, because I know I can't pronounce Latin very well, and the camera defocuses every time it sees a label, in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully spring comes soon and we can all get gardening. Stay safe out there, enjoy life, and see you guys again soon. Bye.